Oi oi, it's your boy Hawker back with another video, this time looking at how Perfecto is slotting in to this new look Na'Vi roster. These games come from the GG.bet Ice challenge in London, where Blade recently said in an interview Na'Vi only had a few days practice with Perfecto, so there's definitely more room for growth and more room for him to fit into this team, but let's see what Perfecto is doing right now. We're starting with Perfecto's first game on Na'Vi, which was played against Godsent on Nuke. And if you follow my Twitter, which you totally should by the way, link in the top right, you would know that Perfecto very rarely played Nuke with Cyman Gaming. In fact, they only played it 3 times in all of 2019, and 2 of those were back in January. So this is not a comfortable map for Perfecto. And I think that shows in some of the spots that Na'Vi give him, because in a lot of the rounds here on the T side, Perfecto is generally either just holding lobby or ramp on these T side rounds, and these spots are much more straightforward in comparison to positions like outside, where there are loads of angles and loads of tricks that you need to be aware of. In this round in particular, Perfecto is mainly just holding ramp room to spot for any aggression, and then eventually when Na'Vi decide to push, he's the second man in, which is something that you'll see a lot from Perfecto in these T-side demos. He ends up getting a decent enough trade at ramp, but the rest of his team don't really do enough as Na'Vi lose against the low buy. Skipping ahead a couple of rounds, Na'Vi decide to go for a fast A play where Perfecto is again going to be the second man in. And I think this is a round where that lack of team practice probably comes into play, because as he tries to clear the top of Hut, he stares straight at his teammate's flashbang, which makes him a sitting duck as he's completely blind. And again, I think this is just an important reminder that Na'Vi clearly haven't had a massive amount of time to practice with this lineup. This next round is one that I actually think summarizes Perfecto's general playstyle pretty well on the T side. Once again, we can fast forward through the first part of the round, where Perfecto's job is just to hold map control while his teammates make moves on other areas of the map. And once Na'Vi decide to push ramp, Perfecto shows some really good patience, and I would describe a reactionary playstyle, where he's kind of trying to cut off rotates after his teammates show themselves. So even though he often plays as the second man in, he's generally not trying to run right alongside the entry fragger. He's normally trying to cut off rotates and make sure his teammates are safe from other angles. And in this round, it works out really well for him as he snaps over to the right side and then just holds this angle waiting for the CTs to peek him. And then at the end of the round, he ensures to double peek with Simple so that the defuse can't come through. Let's mix it up a bit and throw in a few CT rounds from Perfecto. This first one is just going to be a fairly simple and standard counter to a rush from Godsent who are forcing in this second round. But I mainly wanted to include this to show where Perfecto is playing, up on Hut, and that he deals with this rush really well. Doesn't make any mistakes, even though he's blinded, he stays in a fairly safe spot on the site and is able to recover with the MP9 for a double spray down. In my opinion, this is another one of Perfecto's strengths when watching these demos, was that he rarely made many mistakes on a positional level, and he also seems like a pretty intelligent player. For example, here in round 18, if you take a look at Godsent's buy, they've got very little to work with in this round. And so with a player behind him, Perfecto realizes he doesn't need to just jump on top of Hut and watch that position. Instead, the main threat in this round is probably Godsent going for a fast vent dive to try and get a bomb plant. So Perfecto makes sure he's in a position where he can watch the vents and help his teammate if he requires assistance. And then once his teammate has it covered, that's when he drops down to his normal position of Hut. And yes, this is a minute detail, but these are the kinds of decisions that can add up as the game goes on. I've just realized that Perfecto didn't even get a kill in that last round, and I was singing his praises, so let's show some more Perfecto action where he actually gets some frags. This is a round that really showcases Perfecto's patience and confidence in his playstyle. I'm fast forwarding this, but Perfecto literally sits on Hut for the entire round. And then once the fights come his way, he doesn't get trigger happy, he doesn't overextend, he stays in control of the situation to get 2 kills. He definitely comes across as quite a calculated and passive rifler, but if he has the poise to make plays like this on his Na'Vi debut, then you'd expect as he grows in confidence and finds his place in this Na'Vi team for him to be making even more plays like this. As I was mentioning previously, Perfecto seems to be most comfortable when playing a passive style, but there are some rounds where he will throw in some aggression where it makes sense. For example, here in this round, Perfecto ends up being left in a position where he's having to watch both Hut and Heaven, which is a really difficult task to accomplish. And so Na'Vi realize they need to do something about this and decide that they're going to take lobby control. I'm not entirely sure whether this was Perfecto's decision or Boomich's call, but they end up pushing into lobby, and it works really well for them as they take away one side of the map and only have to focus on a few positions. Perfecto then plays a nice little off angle where he gets one pick before Godsent can move into the bomb site, and then he just sits back and relaxes as Boomich cleans up the round, just using some utility to try and help his teammate. Another round that's not too flashy from Perfecto, but he does his job really, really well. This is the last round of Perfecto I'm going to show on Nuke, where we're going back to the T side. And in this round, Perfecto continues to play his passive and calculated play style. He spots the first player on top of Hut and sets up his teammate for the trade. And then I really like how Perfecto plays this round once the bomb is planted. He plays it super safe. As soon as he spots the player, he just falls back, makes sure he's fighting with his teammate. He doesn't get greedy for the frag. And then once the opponent swings open the door, even if Boomich doesn't win the fight, Perfecto would be there to trade. That's exactly what you want to do in this sort of situation. And again, it's another round where Perfecto's not getting kills, but he's making sure that he always has the advantage or sets up his teammates to have good fights in their favor. So all these rounds so far I've shown from Perfecto have come from the same game against Godsent on Nuke, where Perfecto had a really good performance. But now we're going to switch over to Dust 2, where again they're playing against Godsent, but this is a game where Perfecto's stats are much, much worse. So let's see how he does. Yet again, it's more of the same positionally from Perfecto, where he sneaks into tunnels, gets behind the opponents, and again doesn't get greedy once he hears the steps. He makes sure to bide his time and put himself in the best position possible for the frags. And then he whiffs horribly on these players from behind. He needs to get at the very least one kill here. But unfortunately the aim is off and Godsent gets away without losing a single player. These are the kinds of whiffs that can be very costly at the top level. And while I'm willing to cut Perfecto some slack, he's going to need to make sure he doesn't make these sorts of mistakes mechanically in the future. Good work to overwhelm this player at the end, but the aim of Perfecto is definitely something I'll be keeping an eye on. Throughout this CT side of Dust 2, Perfecto plays on the B side of the map, sometimes as the B site anchor, and then sometimes as the B site player who also helps out at mid. And these first 7 rounds are so boring for Perfecto. Look at the scoreline, it's 4-3 right now, and Perfecto is still 0, 1, and 1 in terms of his stat line. His team were basically either winning the round without him or losing the round and not leaving him in a position where he could do much. But this is a round where he does get involved on the B site. I like the way Perfecto is assisting Electronic on mid, making sure he's always got his teammate covered. But then as he moves back to the B bomb site, he misses his jump up onto this position, and then he just gets run down from multiple angles. One of the first rounds where I think Perfecto made an obvious mistake in terms of missing this jump and not being able to fight the tunnels. Here's a round where I think Perfecto makes a mistake. Look at the money on Godsent compared to Na'Vi. There's no need for Perfecto to take this fight at the end here, with Godsent having so much cash and Na'Vi's economy being so bad. And it comes into effect in the next round, where Perfecto ends up having to take an MP9 because he didn't save. I think this is probably a fairly common mistake, but still one that always annoys me to see. Then again, if I'm going to show the bad, I guess I should also show the good. The MP9 is used really well by Perfecto in this round, who lines up a crossfire with Boomich, and between them they lock down the B site, making it look easy against the full rifles. Here's another round where Perfecto's aim perhaps comes into question. I think he's maybe just better off wide swinging here, but he crouches around the corner and ends up losing the fight. Flipping the script and looking at the T side, Perfecto was almost always sent to hold B tunnels while his teammates worked the rest of the map. In most rounds, this made him more of a periphery figure where he didn't have too much of an impact on whether Na'Vi won or lost these rounds. But here's a round where he holds tunnels pretty well, gets a couple of kills against a weak buy. For the most part though, I don't think he did too much wrong on the T side, it's just he was never really in the best positions to get too many kills. I also think you can't show everything just on clips, so let's go through the final pros and cons of Perfecto's game. Firstly, he seems to be quite an intelligent player at understanding what's going on in the game and what he needs to do for his team. Secondly, he plays quite a passive playstyle, which I think can fit in this Na'Vi squad. They've got Boomich and Simple and Electronic, who are all fairly aggressive players, so I think he can fit in this team fairly well. And then thirdly, I would say that Perfecto very rarely seems to make positional mistakes. There were just a couple of rounds where I noticed anything that seemed out of the ordinary. Some of Perfecto's negatives, though, would be, firstly, I wasn't all that impressed by his utility usage in these two games I saw. Maybe it's partly because of the positions he was playing, but for the most part, he rarely set up his teammates with flashbangs or on-the-fly nades. Secondly, I am somewhat concerned about his aim, considering there were some whiffs against Godsent. If Na'Vi are going to be playing at tier 1, I want to see what Perfecto's aim looks like against top tier teams. Finally, as much as Perfecto's passive playstyle can be one of his biggest strengths, I think in some rounds it can also be a weakness of his, where he maybe should get aggressive or maybe should try and make a play and doesn't decide to do so. I think this all depends on how he's going to fit within Na'Vi's system though, and as long as there are other players who are going to be aggressive around him, I think his playstyle could fit this team quite nicely. So that was my review of Perfecto after just a few games he has played on Na'Vi. This is a video I might revisit a few months down the line, maybe after Katowice, to see if Perfecto's role on the team has changed and if he's having any more impact. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you're enjoying some of the longer form content. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time.